Mind if I ask something? A seductive voice purrs. Blushing, she squeaks out a yes. The speaker is a hunk with sapphire eyes. Our lead is officially being cornered. She's a pink-haired beauty herself. Flustered by his proximity, she laughs nervously. He traps her against the wall, hand pinned beside her. Her brain is in total panic. Her heart can't handle this visual attack. He presents a white bloom with a smirk. Ever heard of the rebloom? Cold sweat pours as she realizes she's in deep trouble. He explains the lore. Drinking rebloom nectar is the ultimate cure-all for any sickness. It's a famous kingdom legend, so she's definitely heard the rumors before. Terrified, she confirms she knows it while letting out a forced, shaky laugh. He chuckles, tucking the flower in her hair while mocking his old, cynical self. But here's the real mystery. Why did a girl like her give it to him? Gripping her chin, he turns serious. His illness was supposed to be a top secret. How does a count's daughter know things even the royal princes are clueless about? Our heroine spirals into a stuttering mess, desperately searching for a believable lie. I just found it on the ground, she bluffs. Complete accident, I swear. He's not buying it. That rare flower only grows in the frozen northern temple. Only ancient saints could go there. Our protagonist realizes her help just backfired spectacularly. She flew too close to the sun trying to save her favorite character. He mocks her coincidence, noting she found the exact item he was secretly hunting. Closing the gap, he leans in and whispers directly into her ear. He unties her hair ribbon, threatening punishment if she's plotting anything suspicious. Turning redder than a beet, she begs for mercy with a frantic apology. Her heart hits its limit and boom, she faints right on the cold floor. Her second life ended instantly, but she had absolutely no regrets about it. She finally got to love her ultimate bias. Now back to her miserable first life. Asuka Sato drags her exhausted body home after another soul-crushing day at work. She reaches the stop just in time to see her bus driving away. Typical. She tries to sprint, but her tired legs give up. The kicker? It was the final bus of the night. Time for an expensive taxi. Spend 2,000 yen for a ride? No way, she has better priorities. That money is going straight to her 2D husband in her favorite game. Prince of Jewels weaving love is her ultimate otome addiction. She joyfully dumps her paycheck into the gacha, swiping the screen with hope. 3,200 yen later, the gacha roulette begins its fateful spin. Jackpot. She beams with joy as a rare card of her favorite appears. Headphones on. She can't wait to hear the new voice lines she unlocked. That deep, honeyed voice instantly heals her soul as she walks home cheerfully. She dreamed of teaching after seeing a touching drama when she was young. She imagined fun days guiding students to become great people. Reality had other plans. Reality was a brutal nightmare of soul-crushing paperwork and endless duties. She barely had time to eat, constantly juggling demands from nightmare parents. Stress was piling up like a mountain, crushing her spirit every single day. Her salary stayed flat even though her overtime hours skyrocketed every month. She was so drained she nearly drowned after nodding off in the tub. Then, a random video on her phone changed the course of her life. Meet our dramatic heroine, whose sole reason for surviving her job is ... an anime clip. It's based on her favorite otome game, starring the absolute love of her life, Alexandrite. The plot? A classic reverse harem where three gorgeous princes fight for one lucky lady's heart. Leading the pack was Alexandrite, a blue-haired, elegant masterpiece who instantly stole our girl's soul. Sadly, he's cursed with an incurable illness and a tragic, unrequited love for the heroine Marin. This tragic aura only fueled our fangirl's obsession. Marin, meanwhile, was your typical oppositeness, a count's daughter and queen candidate. Sure, but her real power was just being painfully adorable. One clip was all it took for our protagonist to spiral into a full-blown franchise obsession. She dove into the game, her bank account screaming as she showered her 2D husband with cash. Who cares about rent when his smile is the only thing making her 9 to 5 bearable? His pixelated joy was her oxygen. Spending money on him was the only time she felt alive. A bit concerning? Maybe, but for the sake of true love, we'll overlook her financial choices. Walking home, she listens to his voice on loop, whispering a silent thank you for his existence. But disaster was lurking, waiting for the anim's grand finale to strike her happiness down. Finale day was a total nightmare at the office, capping off a week of soul-crushing overtime. Despite the sleep deprivation, she raced home, determined not to miss a single second of the broadcast. In the game, money bought his attention, but she was hyped to see him shine on screen. Chugging caffeine like a madwoman, she prepared to engrave every heroic moment into her memory. Then her world collapsed. Her heart stopped as Marin begged defeating Alex to stay with her. With his final trembling breath, Alex confessed his eternal love for the heroine. The screen flickered with the heart-shattering image of Alex dying peacefully in Marin's lap. He was gone. Our protagonist's world shattered as her favorite character took his final bow. She wailed at the screen, begging him to live, but the credits rolled with cold indifference. A tragic end for her king. She sobbed until her eyes were puffy and heart was empty. Her voice was shot, but the ultimate betrayal followed. With Alex dead, the story moved on. Marin married his rival. How could they do this? It was the ultimate slap in the face. He deserved better. She cried, wishing with all her soul for a way to save him. Clutching that desperate wish, she drifted off, only to wake up in a totally different world. Squinting against a blinding light, she sat up, her entire body feeling strangely heavy and sore. Why did her back ache? She turned toward a nearby window and froze at her reflection. A stunning beauty with pink hair and sapphire eyes stared back. She gasped, stumbling in shock. Taking in her surroundings, she saw a Victorian cityscape bustling with horse-drawn carriages and antique fashion. This wasn't her modern city. Panic surged. What kind of crazy Isekai nightmare was this? Then she saw it. The towering, majestic castle she had visited 1,000 times, in-game. It was the Imperial Palace. As she stood paralyzed by disbelief, a voice called out to her. That voice, she knew it better than her own heartbeat. She spun around, breath hitching. Walking toward her was the impossible. Alexandrite himself, alive and even more handsome in person. Her face turned beet red. Staring at her ultimate bias, her brain completely short-circuited. She couldn't believe he was there. Sensing her distress, the prince reached out a concerned hand. "Are you all right? You're pale," he asked softly. This had to be a dream, right? Maybe it's a high-tech VR simulation? She desperately scrambled for any logical explanation. If it's a dream, her hand would just pass through him like a ghost. Here goes nothing. But there was no ghosting. Her fingers met his solid warmth and the soft texture of skin. She could even feel his steady pulse. This wasn't a game, this was reality. Her beloved Alexandrite was actually here. But her brain was too busy melting to even answer. He asks again if she's okay, tightening his grip on her hand as concern clouds his handsome face. She's totally short-circuited. Alex's proximity literally caused her brain to hit a blue screen of death. "Eek, what?" She shrieks, scrambling back. Stammering, she cries that a commoner like her shouldn't touch him. Apologizing for her worthless existence, she flees the scene before he can even blink. Poor Alex is left bewildered while our pink-haired heroine sprints away like her life depends on it. Still running, she questions her sanity. Seriously, how much more proof does she need that she was isekai'd? The world around her is a dead ringer for her favorite game. Every carriage and house looks familiar. It is all here. The royal architecture and town layout she spent hundreds of hours staring at on screen. How is this possible? She gasps, her mind racing so fast she misses a step. And then, faceplant, she crashes into the dirt right in the town square, becoming the center of unwanted attention. Nursing her bruised ego and face, A realization hits her harder than the pavement. This actually hurts. Dreams do not have physical pain. This means she is officially trapped inside the world of her obsession. She is in Jewel Prince spinning love. Ooh, even in another world. That name is totally cringeworthy. Reincarnation is a classic trope, but she never thought she would actually be the main character of one. She wonders if those manga authors were actually speaking from experience. But her throbbing head proves this is reality. The stinging pain from the fall is the ultimate evidence that this is not just some vivid daydream. That means she really did just hold hands with the legendary Alexandrate. Her heart cannot take it. Cue the classic anime nosebleed. Breathing the same air as Alex feels like a divine reward from heaven. Thanking the gods for this gift, she decides to stop questioning logic and just enjoy the view. Suddenly, a dark memory strikes the anime's final episode where her beloved Alex meets a tragic end. Panic mode reactivated. She scans the area, desperately trying to pinpoint the current timeline of the plot. The spring breeze and Alex's youthful look tell her one thing. She is at the very start of this story. Looking around, she realizes exactly where she is. This is the square where the main plot begins. This is where Onyx, Alex's rival, and the heroine Marine have their fated first meeting. If Onyx saves Marine here, their romance sparks, and she believes that spells certain doom for Alex. To save her favorite character's life, she must prevent this fated encounter at any cost. Suddenly, Marine's voice cries out for help. Our girl whips around to see the drama unfolding nearby. 3 local thugs are harassing the heroine. Marine tries to explain she was just helping the poor. The brutes ignore her pleas, closing in on the defenseless girl. It is the exact scene from the game. The encounter event is starting. This means Onyx is about to make his grand, heroic entrance. She scans the crowd for the rival lead. Where is he? I have to stop him. There, she spots the brooding guy with black hair and striking purple eyes. The mission begins. She cannot let him play the hero. If they fall in love, her precious Alex is a goner. Desperate to change destiny, she crunches the numbers in her head to find a way to intervene. She crafts a foolproof plan. Sprinting to a nearby boutique, she prepares for a quick change transformation. A crowd gathers in the square as she emerges, looking like a completely different person. Onyx notices the ruckus and starts moving toward Marine. But a sudden presence behind him makes him pause. Someone brushes past him with intense energy, catching him completely off guard for a split second. Before he can react, a mysterious figure zips by. Meanwhile, a thug grabs Marine's arm roughly. Her basket of bread spills everywhere. Marine looks around tearfully, praying for a savior to appear. Enter our protagonist. She storms into the fray, shouting for the thugs to unhand the girl immediately. Dressed in wildly extravagant clothes and over-the-top makeup, she's ready to protect her bias's future happiness. With the ultimate villainous glare, she commands the trashy thugs to cease their vulgar behavior at once. The entire square goes silent. Who is this crazy, glamorous woman interrupting the fated scene? Her plan: play the villainess to wreck the heroine's romance and change fate itself. Her mission? Play Cupid for Marine and Alex to save her bias and herself. She cackles at her genius plan, aiming to be a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. She'd do anything to crown her beloved Alex king. But snapping back to reality, she grins at her villainous debut, ignoring the suspicious glares, until Marine actually recognizes her. Miss Ariannelle? Wait, who? Our heroine looks around, wondering where this lady is hiding. Wait, Marine's looking at me. Do you mean I'm Ariannelle? Marine nods. Cue the frantic fan hiding. They actually know each other? How embarrassing. Are you okay? Marine asks. Oops, the protagonist just froze and her plan just vanished. Reincarnating into an acquaintance's body is bad. Not knowing who that person is. Way worse. She thought she was just a nameless extra. Marine steps closer to reach out, but a thug snaps, grabbing Marine's wrist. He's totally done with all these interruptions? Ariannelle snaps out of it. Identity crisis aside, these thugs are still a major problem. Just then, a maid bursts in, screaming at the top of her lungs for Lady Ariannelle. Wham! A flying kick sends the thug straight into dreamland. Talk about a grand entrance. With a terrifying glare, the maid charges forward and drops the next thug instantly. A final punch to the face. Thug problem? Solved in under 60 seconds. As they watch in awe, Ariannelle wonders, who is this maid and is she superhuman? Teary-eyed, the maid spins around, crying out for her precious Miss Ariannelle. She lunges into a bone-crushing hug, sobbing about how worried she was this whole time. I just went to buy the crepe you wanted, she wails. 1 second later, her lady vanished. She finally finds her, only to see these bottom-tier thugs causing trouble. Absolutely livid, she hoists Ariannelle onto her shoulders and mumbles an apology to Marine. Relieved to find her lady, she announces their immediate return to the family estate. Our heroine is totally lost. Where are they going? And who is this muscle maid? Carried away, she sees Onyx approaching Marine. Yep, her master plan? A total disaster. Ignoring her lady's panic, the maid stuffs her into the carriage. Suddenly, mysterious feet appear. Watching the chaos, Alex spots the noble crest engraved on the departing carriage. He recognizes it instantly, the crest of the prestigious Night Deer family. So that pink-haired girl is a Night Deer noble? Prince Alexandrite. A voice calls out, "Found you," Harry exclaims. Alex apologizes for wandering off to this sketchy part of town. Alex has a favor to ask. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, the doctor has news. Amnesia, the doctor says. She must have hit her head during her solo adventure. Nadia bursts into tears, blaming herself for failing her lady while the parents were away. Ariannelle just said, I don't know, to everything. Now everyone thinks she's lost her memory. It started when she asked the maid's name. Nadia immediately spiraled into pure despair. Once home, doctors swarmed her with questions she couldn't possibly answer. None of it made sense. In every reincarnation story she'd ever read, protagonists usually get memories, but our girl? Zero clues about Ariannelle's past. Nadia won't stop sobbing. Panicked, Ariannelle begs her to just take a deep breath. But that formal tone, it just makes Nadia spiral into even more panic. Introduce yourself again, Ariannelle chirps. So the maid formally greets her as Nadia. Tell me more, Nadia. Then Nadia pulls out a massive hammer and suggests, maybe one more good whack to the skull will bring your memories back. Hard pass, Ariannelle shouts. Nadia sighs and starts explaining her history with Marine. They debuted together, but were they friends? Nope, barely even spoke. Poor Ariannelle was born with a fragile body. Her debut turned into a feverish disaster, forcing a hasty retreat. She vanished from the social scene, becoming a literal ghost at every major party since then. No suitors for this high-born wallflower. Sadly, that was the only juicy intel she could actually dig up. Most of the talk was just Nadia gushing about how angelic and precious little Ariannelle used to be. But nostalgia aside, figuring out her current reputation was a matter of survival in this crazy world. It feels slightly wicked, but thank goodness for the real Ariannelle's convenient amnesia to hide. Her tracks. Identity crisis handled. Now time for the main event. Preventing her precious Alex from meeting a tragic end. Suddenly, a servant bursts in with shocking news. A royal letter has arrived specifically for the young lady. Her heart skips a beat as she unfolds an official invitation to the prestigious royal ball. Talk about timing. Is the plot already moving? She's stunned that this key game event is actually happening. Meanwhile, at the palace, two gorgeous princes are deep in gossip. The blonde one turns toward Onyx with interest. Any news on our brother, Alex? Onyx plays it cool, but the blonde can't wait to spill the tea. Word is, Alex sent a personal invite to a mysterious lady. That icy prince acting romantic? Totally suspicious. Meet Prince Citron, the third royal brother, and Onyx, the second prince. Both are certified heartthrobs. Onyx acts bored, but Citron drops a bombshell. The clock is ticking on their bachelor days. Finding a bride is mandatory, not optional. Onyx responds with a look that could literally freeze hell over. His irritation is palpable. Citron just scoffs, telling him to drop that scary, "Don't touch me" expression. He adds that he honestly doesn't care who Alex's mystery woman is, as long as it's not his problem. But in Alex's private chambers, the air is thick with the sound of agonizing, ragged gasps for air. Alex clutches his chest, trembling on the edge of his bed as he fights the crushing pain within. Is the holy medicine already failing? Drenched in cold sweat, he wonders if his clock is finally stopping. Is his time finally running out? Just then, the image of that pink-haired girl flashes before his eyes. He recalls her adorable antics and that uniquely captivating scent that lingered long after she left. Slumping back, he prays for just one last beautiful memory at the upcoming ball before the end. The royal ball, a Shark Tank of high society where status and wealth are the only currency. Beneath the glittering lights and violins, every whisper is a weapon and every smile is a calculated move. It's where juicy gossip turns into business deals and lifelong marriage contracts are signed over. Champagne. Games are reality, balls are the same, but for our girl. This is her very first time playing for real. Her grand debut has arrived. But tonight isn't just a party, it's the start of something much bigger. This is the legendary Ball of Destiny, the explosive finale of the game's prologue. Things are getting real. After meeting the 3 lead bachelors, Marine must navigate a field of royal charms and dangerous tensions. The king suddenly drops a bombshell. Marine must pick one prince to be her future husband right now. The crown is the prize, and the game is officially on. Talk about an extreme way to find a date. Classic Otome logic. With 3 breathtaking princes to choose from, Marine just goes with the flow. She follows the script until Chapter 2, where affection levels finally decide which royal heart she's steal. Our protagonist knows the drill. She's played this enough times to avoid every possible game over. She was a total pro with a walkthrough guide, ignoring every other route just to focus on her biases. But the anime adaptation was a total heartbreaker, leading her favorite character toward a devastating, tragic fate. Forget the official plot. Our girl is here to flip the script and give her bias a happy ending. She save him at all costs. As the sun sets, the doors to the grand ballroom finally swing open. The room is packed with elegant elite and melodic tunes. But wait, who is that mystery woman turning heads? The crowd whispers in shock as Ariannelle makes an entrance in a stunningly bold, fiery red gown. How scandalous! The noble ladies hiss. Nadia is practically having a heart attack right next to her lady. Poor Nadia begged for a modest lilac dress. But Arya wasn't having any of that delicate nonsense today. Arya has one mission: find Marine. The game made this ball look easy, but reality is a different beast. Marine hung back, scanning the ballroom like a pro scout. The princes were circling. One wrong word could ruin the affection levels. Arya had every flag memorized. Please, let the plot stay on track. She hunted for the heroine, recalling Marine's secret backstory. This was at the debutante ball. Marine's big reveal to high society. A saint in training finally stepping out of the church's shadows. Hidden away for years, she was the kingdom's best-kept secret. The anime crowd went wild when she was named a potential bride. Found her! There stood the future wife of Arya's favorite character. Mission: delete all rival routes. Only one ship is sailing tonight. Arya flashed a sly grin as she approached her target. Marine beamed back. Step 1, win over the heroine. Complete. Time to play the villain and block every thirsty noble in sight. Single lords swarmed like moths to a flame, enchanted by them. One death glare from Arya sent those fanboys running for cover. Protecting the ship was exhausting. Marine begged her to take a rest. Marine went for drinks, leaving Arya in a total state of panic. What if a rival strikes? But Marine was already gone. A shady woman smirked and, accidentally, lunged toward Marine. Wine everywhere. Wait, this didn't happen in the game or the anime. The lady offered a fake apology with a side of pure venom. Too busy husband hunting to see where you're going? She sneered. As the crowd snickered, the mean girl tried to slip away. Hold it right there. Arya barked, rushing to Marine's side. Apologize for real. We both know that spill was no accident. The lady scoffed, but Arya wasn't about to let this slide. Why care? Because nobody messes with my girl and walks away. Arya leaned in. Do you even know who you're insulting? You just offended a duchess. Ready to watch your family crumble? Savoring the fear, Arya whispered a final warning in her ear. Imagine your father's face when he hears about your little stunt. The woman turned pale and bowed, begging Marine for mercy. Marine was totally confused, but gave a small, I forgive you. The woman glared at Arya, but our villainess just smirked. Good girl. But remember, ignorance is a very dangerous thing. One day, that nasty attitude will be your literal downfall. Suddenly, the lady's face went white as a sheet. Arya was baffled until the woman pointed a shaking finger behind her. Arya spun around and came face to face with Tonix. Prince Citrin and her beloved Alexandrite were standing right there. Panic, they saw the whole thing. This wasn't in the script. I rehearsed for one prince, not a whole royal squad. My heart can't handle a 3-on-1 encounter. Help. Cold sweat poured as she prayed for an emergency escape plan. Onyx walked right past Arya, reaching out for Marine's hand. Marine blushes like a rose, reaching out to graze Onyx's hand while whispering she's okay. Sensing the danger, our main character swoops in like a pro, snatching Onyx's hand away before the touch connects. Looking sharp, she insists Lady Marine is perfectly fine, so he should really just back off. Citrin kills the mood, roasting them both for looking like absolute disasters in those messy clothes. Arya suddenly recalls Marine's dress is still a wine-stained catastrophe. Nadia's begging echoes in her mind, prompting Arya to offer her a much better outfit to wear. Suddenly, Alex swoops in, hoisting her up by the waist and dragging her away from Onyx's path. He breathes an invitation into her ear, sending shivers as she turns to face the mystery whisperer. It's the devastatingly handsome Alex, flashing a smirk that leaves our poor main character totally paralyzed. Poof! Everything shifts to Oscar's face as she sits lonely in a mysterious school hallway. The world warps, transforming into the very classroom where Oscar's childhood trauma first began. Cruel classmates were tormenting her just for having a tiny crush on one of the boys. They mock her looks, saying no boy could ever like her, sending poor Oscar into tears. Sobbing that she's unlovable, she begs them to stop, until our main character screams and jolts awake. Gasping for air, she realizes it was only a nightmare, her heart still racing in the dark. She wipes her tears, frustrated that these ghosts from the past still haunt her dreams even now. Someone offers a refreshing glass of water, which Arya gratefully accepts.